Hello friends, we are towards the second lecture from a second unit, and the topic that we were discussing, children, it was related to the demand and supply analysis. Now as far as demand and supply analysis is concerned, children, we have already discussed about the basics of demand. I have explained to you most of the determinants of demand. Now the determinants of demand is one of the most basic questions that we need to understand if we have to understand the further concepts clearly. So children, today we are going to focus on one of the most important answers from our economics. We have heard about it before in a 12th standard. It's known as the law of demand. Children, the law of demand, again it will be attributed to none other than Alfred Marshall. Now 1890, when he had written the book, the name of the book was Principles of Economics. Now through this book, he basically tried to explain the behavior of a rational consumer. Or we say like it explains the law basically tries to explain the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded of a particular commodity. Children, among lots of the different factors which determine the demand for a particular commodity, the most important factor is price. In fact, price is the only determinant which plays a very important role in determining whether the demand for a particular product will be more or less. Now, whenever we study any particular law, children, we are going to follow a particular sequence. Now the sequence basically goes like this. Initially we give a small introduction to the law in which we are supposed to mention the name of the book and the author or the economist who has actually presented this law. The second thing that comes up here, children, is the statement of the law. Now, talking about the statement of the law, any particular law, the statement would actually begin like this. It says, ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus, children, means we assume that all other factors are going to remain constant when we have to analyze this particular law. बाकी सब चीज़ों को अगर हम लोग constant assume करते हैं तो ये law practically applicable होगा. अभी जिन factors को हम लोग constant assume करना चाहते हैं, by chance if any of these factors they undergo change, then the law would not be practically possible. Now, what is the exact statement for the law of demand? So, other things remaining constant, we say that whenever we refer to other things remaining constant, children, we are actually referring to the assumptions of the law of demand. Now, here we come across the statement, just highlighting here, any particular answer when we study, children, we need to understand here, these other things remaining constant. So any particular law, which is the law of DMU, whether you're studying about the law of demand, the law of supply, starting ka point hum log ko pata hai, other things remaining constant. In other words, children, this is also referred to as ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus means, children, other things remaining constant. The statement of the law is a very simple. It's a simple concept. Why? We children have to just tell what exactly is the response of the quantity demanded of a particular commodity whenever there are fluctuations in the price of that particular commodity. So here the statement says that the quantity demanded of a commodity, Now children, here we come across two different words. Either we say the demand increases or we also say the demand decreases. But we also know that increase and decrease, and then we have got two synonyms for the same concepts here, that is called expands and contracts. So here we are not going to use the words increase and decrease. We are going to come across the words that is expands and contracts. So the quantity demanded of a commodity, and then we here have the word that is expands. Children, when does the quantity demanded expand? Whenever there is a fall in the price of a particular commodity. So we say that okay, whenever the price is going to fall, the demand is going to expand. And then they say like we have got a shortcut in which we say vice versa. Vice versa means children is exactly the opposite. If the quantity demanded expands with a fall in price, then what is the opposite, children? That the quantity demanded will contract with a rise in price. बच्चे लोग छोटी सी बात है यहाँ पे, जब भी किसी कमोडिटी का प्राइस बढ़ जाएगा तो उसका क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड क्या होगा? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा, और जब भी किसी कमोडिटी का प्राइस कम होता है तो उसका क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड एक्सपांड होगा. एंड दिस इज चिल्ड्रन वन ऑफ द मोस्ट natural behaviors of any particular consumer. You go to the market, children, whenever we feel that the prices are higher, generally we come back home and we generally come up with some smaller quantities of that particular product. At the same time, children, we have experienced situations जहाँ पे हमने देखा है कि whenever there is a fall in the price of a particular commodity, people simply rush to the markets and then they can take away the entire stock that is existing there. So कभी कभी बच्चों इसको सिंपल से सेंटेंस में भी बोला जाता है, हायर द प्राइस ऑफ अ कमोडिटी लोअर द क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड, लोअर द प्राइस ऑफ अ कमोडिटी हायर इज द क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड. वी कम टू एक्सप्लेन द फर्दर डिटेल्स टू द लॉ. Children, here in simple terms I just put it here that higher the price of a particular commodity, then lower is the quantity demanded, and lower the price of a particular commodity, higher is going to be the quantity demanded. Now अभी ये जो higher lower की बात चल रही है यहाँ पे, तो here children we generally understand that there is some kind of opposite relationship between these two different variables. Children, whenever we come across economic variables, they are the two different things which actually affect each other. One is the price of a particular commodity. The second, children, is the quantity demanded, or demand we can say. Achha, what kind of relationship exists here? There is an inverse relationship. What is inverse, children? Opposite. That means whenever one variable rises, the other variable will automatically slow down. Or if one variable falls, the other one has to rise. That's exactly what's known as inverse relationship. So in simple terms, we can put it like this, children, that the law of demand explains the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. In fact, there's a algebraic method for explaining this particular relationship, which is actually referred to as a demand function. Now, what is a demand function, children? They say that demand is a function of price. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? It means कि like whenever there is going to be a change in the price of a particular commodity, automatically, children, it is going to affect the demand for that particular commodity. To put it algebraically, quantity demanded, that's represented here by QD, that would exactly be a function of price. It means whenever there is a change in the price of that particular commodity, here we are going to be followed by a simultaneous change in the quantity demanded of that particular commodity. So whenever there is a dependent variable, children, and there is an independent variable, here demand is a dependent variable because demand depends upon price, and price could be an independent variable because price is going to determine the demand for that particular product. So sometimes in the exam they might ask you to explain what's a demand function. So here we got a systematic definition for the demand function. Just remember, हमारे आने वाले syllabus में हम लोग ऐसे words और कहीं पे सुनने वाले हैं. ये है बच्चों लोग demand function. Second वाला आएगा supply function. Then children, we have got a production function, and at the last we also come across supply function. So first explanation here, the first definition, and from this, children, you can consequently understand the next, because here the definition exactly remains the same with some limited changes that we have. So demand function, it explains the functional relationship. Children, when you saw this equation, did you just hear this? QD is a function of P. So F represents function. Now here, The demand function explains the functional relationship between, चलो इक्वेशन में कौन सी दो चीज़ों को हाईलाइट किया मैंने. On one side, children, we have got the determinants of demand, and the other side we have got the quantity demanded. So demand function explains the functional relationship between determinants of demand and quantity demanded. There is another way, children, of putting this demand function. Here, quantity demanded of commodity X is a function of, children, whatever shortcuts I have written here, they are called as economic identities. The first one, P, which stands for price. It means, children, the quantity of X depends upon the price of X. PSC, that is the price of substitutes and the price of complements. Children, we have already discussed about the supplements, we have already discussed about the complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which are consumed simultaneously in order to satisfy a single want. However, children, when we refer to the substitutes are those goods which can be consumed in place of another. Means either of the two or three things are able to satisfy a single want. Why? Obviously it stands for income. आपका डिमांड विच लोग इनकम के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. Those who earn more, children, have the ability to spend more and the demand would always be high. Then we also discuss about the advertisements. They are also known as promotions. Presently, children, I told you, companies they spend lakhs and crores of rupees on advertising their particular products. Why, children? Because they know that advertisements have the potential to pull up the demand for any particular product in the market. So brand endorsing, then exhibitions, trade fairs, we have got sample displays of free gifts that they are distributing. All these are a part of advertisement. So a very important factor, children. N could be the size of population that we have. Then the future expectations. C stands for credit. Credit here means the loans which are given by the banks. Children, one thing that you know, आधे से ज़्यादा जो हम लोग पैसा खर्च करते हैं ये आता कहाँ से है? Banks. Even if I don't have the money, the banks are ready to give me the loans. So see, like children, in fact, presently, क्या हम लोग ऐसे बोल सकते हैं कि like अमीर लोग वही होते हैं जिन लोगों के अंदर लोन लेने का ताकत रहता है. आज अगर कोई आपको बोलता है कि लाइक मतलब यू आर जस्ट गोइंग फ्रॉम द रोड, फिर आपने सडनली देखा कि लाइक कोई मर्सिडीज लेके जा रहा है, अच्छा इमीडिएटली हम लोगों को क्या लगता है कि हाँ बहुत मतलब सॉलिड पेटी पैक बंदा है करके. Children, don't you understand one thing here, that half of the things that we purchase are basically through the EMI facility that we get. अगर कोई बहुत अमीर है तो समझ जाने का कि वो बहुत EMI भरता रहेगा. अगर कोई गरीब है तो उसने लोन नहीं लिया है इसलिए गरीब होता है. तो अमीर बनना है चलो लोन लेने के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. अगर कोई बोलता है मेरे पास गाड़ी है, हम लोग थोड़ी ना कंफर्म करने के लिए जाते हैं कि लाइक उसने रोकड़े पे लिया है कि EMI पे लिया है. बस गाड़ी है मतलब अमीर है. कोई बोलता है कि मैं 3 BHK फ्लैट में रहता हूँ, अभी हम लोग थोड़े ना ये पूछने के लिए जाते हैं कि EMI पे लिया है क्या, और रोकड़े पे तो ले नहीं पाएगा वो. It means, children, your spending capacity is presently generated by the banks who have a lot of money and they are ready to give you these loans and then they extract all the interest from you. So children, if I want to buy a mobile worth rupees 1 lakh, suppose if I want to buy an iPhone, now I cannot give the entire cash, but if someone comes and says ki like हाँ loan पे phone पे loan, and then now suddenly I'm ready to buy that particular product. Now the same product, if I had to buy in cash, I would have thought 10 times, because that would मतलब it wouldn't be possible for any middle class person. Obviously middle class people, they don't use iPhones, but presently they even have started using the same things. Going into the further detail, children, of the law of demand. Children, the next step to explain any particular law would be actually the schedule. Schedule, children, basically stands for a particular table in which we determine or we explain two different variables. One obviously is going to be the price of that commodity, and the second one, children, is the quantity demanded. So here we have got the explanation for the demand schedule. Schedule, children, it's a hypothetical table, imaginary table assume करते हैं हम लोग. So it explains various quantities of a commodity that are demanded at different prices. एक ही commodity के अलग अलग quantity जो एक consumer अलग अलग भाव में खरीदने के लिए ready रहता है, उसको जब हम लोग column form में present करते हैं, children, then it is known as a demand schedule. Demand schedule बनाते वक्त one of the most important assumptions that we have is that we are going to assume that only the price of that particular commodity will change and all other factors are basically going to remain constant. Children, we say that whenever the price of a particular commodity falls, then there is a sudden burst in the demand for that particular product. Anytime we have heard like the gold prices, they fall in the market and then people rush to buy that gold. But we need to assume that all other factors are going to remain constant. It also might happen, children, ki like the gold prices have fallen, but at the same time there's a person who has lost his job or he doesn't have a particular income. Now, though the prices have fallen down, this person is not going to go to the market because his income has changed. और कभी आपको पता है जो लोग सोना सस्ता हो गया, हम लोग खरीदने का प्लान करें, लेकिन सडनली आपको कोई बताता है कि अरे 4 दिन के लिए रुक और सस्ता होने वाला है, फिर आप बोलते ठीक है, presently I am not going to buy it. Now these are something sort of known as the future expectations about the price of a particular product. Children, the entire stock market or the share market functions on this principle of future expectations. मुझे लगता है कि फ्यूचर में किसी कमोडिटी का शेयर्स का प्राइस बढ़ने वाला है, तो अभी मैं उसको परचेस करके रखता हूँ. अभी प्राइस बढ़ रहा है फिर भी मैं खरीद रहा हूँ. क्यों खरीद रहा हूँ? मुझे लगता है कि और ज़्यादा महंगा तो उसको बेच के मैं प्रॉफिट कमाऊंगा. Children, here did you notice one thing? The prices of shares are rising, but the people are buying more shares. Thus, here the law of demand is not followed. Law of demand says, children, higher price has to be accompanied with lower demand. One more thing, children, in a country like India, where we almost have more than 130 crore people, whether the prices they fall down or they keep on rising, you know, the entire population who require so many goods and services to satisfy their basic wants, people keep on purchasing. The best of the best, the major giant multinational corporations from the entire world, they try to come to India. Children, the basic reason is this, because India is a very populated country, and population in economics, we don't take it negatively, children. It's a consumer force. इतने ज़्यादा लोग मतलब चलो इतना ज़्यादा डिमांड रहता. Have you ever thought, children, 130 crore people in India, whenever they launch a new particular product, ये 130 करोड़ में से 50% लोगों ने भी सोचा ना कि चलो ये प्रोडक्ट मैं ट्राई कर लेता हूँ. Have you seen any of the companies? Cadbury's के बारे में देखो. Every time they launch some new products. मतलब whenever they used to come out with something like, you know, Silk, then they come out with something like Oreo. अच्छा, Valentine's Day, they come up with a heart pop that comes out. Children, they keep, and every time you feel that I need to try out this product. 130 करोड़ लोगों में से चलो अगर 10% लोगों ने भी एक टाइम पे एक प्रोडक्ट ट्राई भी कर लिया ना, तो 13 करोड़ लोग ये कैडबरी परचेस करेंगे. 13 करोड़ और मल्टीप्लाई बाय 80 रुपीज़, so you will get an idea कि how much the revenue the company is going to generate. Here, the law of demand has got a very important assumption that only the price of a particular commodity will change. All other factors are going to remain constant. Now, coming towards the tabular presentation of this particular thing, individual demand schedule. So we need to understand two things here. There are two types of demand that we have. एक होता है individual demand, एक होता है market demand. Individual demand is the various quantities of goods and services which are demanded by an individual consumer from the market at different prices during a given period of time. At the same time, children, if you are referring to market demand, what is market demand? It is nothing but it is the addition of all the commodities which are demanded not by a single consumer but all the consumers in the market. So you add up all the individual demand schedules and then you get what's a market demand schedule. Children, can you just analyze this table here? Here in the first column we have shown you the price of a particular commodity. Here we are showing you the quantity demanded of that particular commodity. If the price of a commodity is 5, suppose, and the quantity demanded is how many? 10 units. When the price falls down to 4 rupees, we say like chalo, consumers are ready to buy more units, and then they buy 20 units. 3 rupees, 30 units. At the same time, if the price has fallen down further to 2 rupees, the consumer might be able to buy 40 units. It is available for 1 rupee. He is able to take away 50 units. The table, children, tells you the basic principle of the law of demand. And that basic principle says that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Here children, if you see the prices, we are reducing the prices, and then we observe that the quantity demanded has kept on increasing. So indirectly I would say like this: the schedule explains, again children, the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Now the same schedule, if we plot it on a graph, then we are going to derive the demand curve, and the demand curve is in front of you children. It's a simple posting that we do here. Can you just have a look how this diagram is made? Again, on the x-axis we have represented the quantity of that particular commodity. Y-axis represents the price. For quantities we have taken a scale of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. For price we are taking a scale of 1 rupee. So here, when the price of the commodity was 5 rupees and we are taking home how many units children? 10. The price has fallen down to 4 units and the consumer is ready to purchase 10 extra units. Further fall in the price and the demand has kept on increasing. 2 rupees, children, here he is ready to buy 40 units. 1 rupee and they will take away 50 units. Now all these intersecting points children, if you connect them, we are going to get a downward sloping curve, and that's exactly referred to as a demand curve. What did you understand children here? The simplest thing children, that is the demand curve slopes downward from left to right. Now whenever we say it's sloping downwards, you always need to mention the direction, and it's always left to right, because if you say right to left it would exactly show a different shape. Now they might ask you children like, why does the demand curve slope downwards? And the answer is here children. See, 12th स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ते वक्त अगर कोई आपको यही सवाल पूछता था तो आप एक सिंपल सा रीज़न देते थे कि सर प्राइस और क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड के बीच में इन्वर्स रिलेशनशिप है और इसीलिए डिमांड को डाउनवर्ड स्लोप दिखाता है. Children, now we are studying at professional level. Being a student of whether it's like CMA, CA, FCS Foundation, we need to give more technical reasons. And here we are with the reasons why the demand curve slopes downwards. Or we say it's the rational or the reasons for the law of demand. Children, every point I'm going to explain to you in detail. Just understand these points. The first and the foremost reason why the demand curve slopes downward, children, is the law of DMU. Children, whenever we go to the market and we buy particular commodities, a consumer would always try to equate the satisfaction, the another word for satisfaction, that is utility that he gets, with the amount of money that he is paying for that particular product. If I go to the market, children, I am supposed to buy some oranges. If I get one orange, assume for rupees 3, but these oranges are going to give me different levels of satisfaction. आपको ये तो पता होगा कि first वाला orange, we generally assume that the satisfaction is very high. Now here it could be, children, कि suppose we're just going to take an example. The first orange that I purchased, it's giving me a utility of, assume children, it's giving me a utility of 10 units. The second one is going to give me an utility of 8 units. The third one is give me an utility of 5 units here, children. Okay. Now at the same time, children, here we also observe that the utility keeps on decreasing as usual. Now looking at these utilities, the next one, children, the next orange is going to give me a utility of 4 units. Here the utility keeps on decreasing. आपको मिलने वाला satisfaction क्या होते जा रहा है? कम होते जा रहा है. Now here Alfred Marshall, children, said that the amount of money that you pay has to be exactly equal to the utility that you get. So 10 units का अगर utility मिल रहा है तो how much of money you should be ready to pay, children? 10 rupees. The second orange is giving you a satisfaction of 8 units. Now how much money you are ready to pay for that 8? But see, children, the market price of any particular orange would not depend upon the utility that you are getting. The obviously आपने उसको पूछा कि भैया कैसे दिया ऑरेंज, और वो बोलता है कि 5 रुपए का है. अभी आपको पहला ऑरेंज परचेस करो, दूसरा ऑरेंज परचेस करो, और आपको 5 रुपीज़ में ही दे रहा है. So here, children, I am going to assume that the price of the orange, I'm going to keep it constant, children, and it's going to be, children, 5 rupees all. Acha, now we are just going to compare, children, the utility with the price of this particular commodities. First, orange, कितना utility मिला आपको? 10. But children, here we also observe that you are paying only 5 rupees. 10 रुपए का satisfaction मिला, आपने 5 रुपए पे किया है, तो आप फायदे वाले साइड में हो. तो मुझे लगता है कि आपको ये ऑरेंज परचेज कर लेना चाहिए. सेकेंड वाला ऑरेंज आपको 8 यूनिट्स का सेटिस्फैक्शन देके जा रहा है, एंड यू आर पेइंग हाउ मच? 5. Again, I feel that your satisfaction is more than the sacrifice that you are making by paying 5 rupees. The third one, children, third orange आपको satisfaction 5 का दे रहा है, और आप पेमेंट भी कितना कर रहे हो? 5. Here, children, the consumer suddenly comes to a halt and then he starts thinking कि whether I should buy this product or not to buy this product. अभी उसको लगता है कि अरे मैं 5 रुपए दे रहा हूँ, मुझे satisfaction भी 5 का दे रहा है. अच्छा, मुझे फ़ायदा किधर हो रहा है? अरे लेकिन मुझे नुकसान भी तो नहीं हो रहा है ना. So should I go to buy it? Yes. That is an intra-marginal product, children. Now when he comes to this fourth orange, जहाँ पे उसको satisfaction कितना मिला है? 4. और उसको पैसा कितना देना है? 5. And then you know, children, here the sacrifice that you're making by paying 5 rupees is exactly more than the benefit that you get by the utility of 4 units. Here, children, you are not going to buy this particular product. You will outright reject that product. Now the question arises कि अगर मैं मार्केट में ऑरेंजेस बेच रहा हूँ, मुझे पता है कि पहले 3 ऑरेंजेस कंज्यूमर खरीद के गया है, फोर्थ वाला ये बंदा नहीं खरीद रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसको 4 का यूटिलिटी मिल रहा है, मैं उससे 5 रुपये मांग रहा हूँ. तो मुझे लगता है कि दैट मीन्स चिल्ड्रन आई एम रेडी टू सेल 3 ऑरेंजेस. द फोर्थ ऑरेंज इज नॉट बाइंग, क्योंकि 4 और 5 वाला. अभी मुझे लगता है कि नहीं बच्चों लोग, एक ऑरेंज मुझे उसको बेचना ही है, तो मेरे पास एक ही ऑप्शन है बच्चों लोग, एंड दैट इज ये 5 रुपये को मैं उसको 4 रुपये कर लेता हूँ. अभी उसको यूटिलिटी मिला है 4 यूनिट्स का, और मैं पैसा भी कितना? 4. नाउ ही विल टेक अवे दैट फोर्थ ऑरेंज ऑल्सो. आपने देखा 5 रुपये का था तो 3 ऑरेंजेस बिके थे, 4 रुपये आपने किया तो ही हैज़ परचेस्ड 4 oranges. Children, that's exactly. And it's the simplest case, children. Here the price of the particular product has fallen and the consumer has gone away with 1 extra unit of that oranges. So the first reason where you understand that a fall in the price, people take away more products. The second, children, reason would be something what is referred to as substitution effect. Children, what is substitution? Substitution basically here means one product in place of another product. Children, there are 2 sets of products that we have. One is a high price product and a low price product. And suppose they are substitutes. Now, talking about the substitute products, children, जैसे कि if you just go to any particular mall, वहाँ पे आपने देखा कि पेप्सी का बॉटल पड़ा हुआ है, कितना 90 रुपीज़ का है. आप उसको ख़रीदने का प्लान कर ही रहे थे. अच्छा, एट द सेम टाइम साइड में आपने देखा बिग कोला का एक बॉटल पड़ा हुआ था. वो कितने में था? सेम, उससे भी बड़े साइज़ में बचलो, लेकिन इट्स अवेलेबल ओनली फॉर 40 रुपीज़. वो 90 रुपीज़ वाला और ये 40 रुपीज़ वाला, दिखने में दोनों भी उतने काले दिखते हैं. ग्लास में डालने के बाद में आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि बिग कोला था कि पेप्सी. इनफैक्ट चिल्ड्रन, है थम्स अप, ए कोक, ए पेप्सी, ये 3 भाई भाई है. एट द सेम टाइम ये बिग कोला, ये नाइजीरिया से आया हुआ एक सौतेला भाई है इन लोगों का भी, लेकिन दिखने में उतना ही काला है. अभी बात है यहाँ पे कि जब भी घर पे कोई फंक्शन होता है, आप खरीदने के लिए जाते हो, फिर आप देखते हो थम्स अप की तरफ 90 रुपीज़ का रहता है. हाँ, वो फ्रिज वो दुकान वाला उसको फ्रिज के अंदर डालने का भी पैसा लेगा आपसे 5 रुपये एक्स्ट्रा. मतलब इंडिया में ठंडे को ठंडा करने का भी पैसा लगता है, और कभी हम लोग उसको पूछते नहीं 5 रुपये एक्स्ट्रा क्यों ले. वी अज्यूम कि लाइक उसका चार्जेस है. कल एक बात ऐसी भी होगी कि वो बोलेगा चाय है 10 रुपये का, उसको गर्म करने का 5 रुपये है, और हम लोग देख के आते हैं. इंडियंस आर लीस्ट बॉदर्ड अबाउट दिस 5 एक्स्ट्रा रुपीज़. दे फील इट्स द authority of that shopkeeper, it deserves that. So what am I trying to do here, children? Whenever we feel, see children, thumbs up is not costly as such. 90 rupees might not be costly, क्योंकि बिग कोला आपको 40 रुपीज़ में मिल रहा है, तो आपको थम्स अप 90 रुपीज़ का महंगा लगेगा. Now here what you are going to do, children? हो सकता है कि आपके घर पे कुछ पार्टी है, बिग कोला का 3-4 बॉटल आप उठा के लेके आए. Can I say, children, here that you are substituting a low price product in place of a high price product? और थम्स अप का बॉटल हो सकता है कि आप 2 ही खरीद के लाते थे, लेकिन बिग कोला का आपने कितना बॉटल खरीदा? 4 बॉटल खरीद लिया. What does it show children? कि those products which are lower priced, people generally tend to buy them in more quantities. पहले एक टाइम पे हम लोग सिम कार्ड्स यूज़ करते थे, अच्छा 199 रुपीज़ का रिचार्ज मारने का, 1 GB डेटा मिलता था, स्पीड इतना खतरनाक था कि महीने भर ख़त्म ही नहीं होता है. अच्छा, एंड देन वी यूज्ड टू बी लाइक एक महीने में 1 GB डेटा से हैंडल कर लेते थे हम लोग. एंड देन सडनली यू सॉ कि कोई मार्केट में आया और आपको एक नया ज़िंदगी दे के गया, तो नाम भी हम लोगों ने उसको जियो रखा है, कि स्टार्टिंग में फ्री सिम कार्ड्स बांट रहे थे बच्चे लोग. अच्छा, लोगों ने उसको 3 महीने तक फ्री में यूज़ कर लिया. आफ्टरवर्ड्स दे स्टार्टेड चार्ज. लेकिन एंटायर जो टेलीकॉम का इंडस्ट्री है वहाँ पे इतना कंपटीशन क्रिएट किया कि मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द प्लेयर्स इन द मार्केट दे स्टार्टेड सफरिंग लॉसेस. और सब लोगों ने क्या किया, अपना अपना सिम कार्ड, जैसे वोडाफोन का निकाल के फेंक दो, वहाँ पे क्या डाल दो, जियो. अच्छा, एयरटेल का है वो निकालो, क्या, जियो. क्या है बच्चों, वी आर सब्सटीट्यूटिंग अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट. So high price products are substituted in place of the low, by low price products. Here we need to understand one thing, कि इनिशियली जो हम लोग इंटरनेट का यूज़ करते थे वो 1 महीने का 1 GB का था. जियो आने के बाद क्या हुआ है पता है, कि हम लोग 1 GB एक दिन में गायब कर लेते हैं. थोड़े लोगों का तो दोपहर तक गायब होता है, शाम के टाइम पे वो लोग हॉटस्पॉट ढूंढते रहते हैं वहाँ पे. Now that's like you are using more. So we are buying more. Why? Because it is available cheap. Children, here mostly can you just see कि लाइक रेलवेज में ट्रैवल करते वक्त आपने देखा रहेगा, सब लोग अपने अपने मोबाइल्स में वेब सीरीज देखते हैं. अच्छा, जहाँ पे पहले हम लोग हफ्ते में एक आध बार अपने गांव कॉल करते थे, लोग आज बैठे बैठे घर पे वीडियो कॉल करते. क्यों? चैटिंग के लिए स्पेलिंग्स नहीं आते हैं. इधर मतलब इधर मुंबई में बैठ के, यूपी बिहार में बच्चे लोग लाइव फेस टू फेस कॉलिंग. चिल्ड्रन, मोर यूसेज ऑफ इंटरनेट. We have seen an internet revolution taking place here. It's because the things have become cheap. The third reason, children, it's related to income effect. What is income effect, children? Whenever the price of एक आध commodity का प्राइस कम होता है, जैसे कि मेरे पास 100 रुपये है, एक आध प्रोडक्ट 10 रुपये का मिलता था, मैं 10 यूनिट खरीदता हूँ. सडनली वही प्रोडक्ट 5 रुपये का मिलने लगा, तो 5 into 10 तो 50 रुपीज़ गए, मेरे पास 50 रुपये बच गए. अभी बचे हुए 50 रुपये से मैं उसका और ज़्यादा यूनिट्स परचेस कर सकता हूँ. वेन एवर देर इज़ अ फॉल इन द प्राइस ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट, द कंज्यूमर सडनली एक्सपीरियंसेस देर इज सम अमाउंट ऑफ इनकम दैट इज लेफ्ट विथ हिम. तो हो सकता है कि लाइक वो थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा परचेस करके आ जाए. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज इनकम इफेक्ट. वहीं पे वही प्रोडक्ट बच लो जो 10 रुपीज़ का हो 20 रुपीज़ का हो गया, देन आई वोंट बी एबल टू बाय 10 यूनिट्स, आई विल हैव टू सेटल माई सेल्फ विथ 5 यूनिट्स. सो हायर प्राइस, लोअर डिमांड. Then the next reason, children, why the law of demand works is the entry of new buyers. Children, just now I was giving an example of internet. ऐसे लोग जिन्होंने कभी इंटरनेट के बारे में सोचा भी नहीं था, आज वैसे लोग इंटरनेट यूज़ कर रहे हैं. Why? Because it is become cheap. There was a time, children, when the mobiles used to be very costly. एक आध मोबाइल मतलब एक, और कॉल रेट पता है आपको 16 to 17 रुपीज़ पर मिनट. अभी कैसे रिचार्ज मारो और बात करते रहना. Here I would like to quote another example for you, children. What is entry of new buyers? Airline industry, children, we have seen a lot of competition taking place. पुराने ज़माने में अगर कोई बोलता था कि मैं एयरलाइन मतलब एरोप्लेन से आया, तो लोग ना आँख फाड़ के देखते थे, बिग शॉट आदमी रहेगा करके. अभी अगर कोई बोलता ना कि मैं एरोप्लेन से आया हूँ, यू डोंट फील द हीट. रीज़न, nowadays any Tom, Dick and Harry can go by plane, children. Nowadays मतलब लॉकडाउन के टाइम पे नहीं. Children, if you want to travel from Mumbai to Goa, you get a ticket, children, for 2000 rupees. Like if you book it 1 or 2 months previously. but चलो ट्रेन का 1 tier AC का टिकट 2600 रुपये आता है, यहाँ पे आपको हवा में से जाने को मिल रहा है कितने रुपए में, 1800 या फिर 2000 रुपये में. सडनली ये सब चीज़ें. और कहीं पे आप एक फ्लैश सेल देखते हो जहाँ पे स्पाइस जेट बोलते हैं कि चलो डोमेस्टिक फ्लाइट्स 799 रुपीज़ में. अभी ऐसा बंदा जो कभी एयरलाइन से ट्रैवल नहीं किया है, क्या बोल सकते हैं, सडनली माइट गेट अ फीलिंग लाइक आई एम गोइंग टू ट्रैवल बाय प्लेन. व्हाई? बिकॉज आई एम गेटिंग चीप. न्यू पीपल आर गोइंग टू एंटर इनटू अ मार्केट. एक आध बंदा है, गरीब है, घर पे जा रहा था, बच्चे ने बोला था कि लाइक डैडी एप्पल्स लाना. अभी बंदा जाके पूछा भैया कैसे एप्पल्स ये, वो बोलता है कि 300 रुपये का किलो है. अभी बंदा जो है इसका पगार से चलो 2-2.5 हज़ार का है. ही इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू अफोर्ड 300 रुपीज़ पर केजी का एप्पल्स. ये घर पे जाके बेटी को बोलता है कि बेटा भूल गया मैं. तो बेटी ने बोला कि डैडी कल लेके आना, मैं आपको फ़ोन करूँगी याद दिलाने के लिए। कल वो आ रहा था, तब उसने पूछा कि भैया एप्पल्स कैसे दिए। अभी वो बोलता है कि 100 रुपये का किलो है। क्या मैं बोल दूँ कल के कंपैरिजन में द एप्पल्स हैव बिकम चीपर चिल्ड्रन। अभी बंदा पूरा का पूरा 1 किलो नहीं तो अपनी बेटी के लिए कम से कम 50 रुपये का एक आधा किलो एप्पल्स लेके जा सकता है। कल मार्केट ने एक कंज्यूमर को मिस किया था क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट महंगा था तो उसने खरीदा नहीं था, मतलब ही इज़ नॉट अ कंज्यूमर। आज मार्केट को एक नया बायर मिल गया, आज एयरलाइंस को एक नया कस्टमर मिल गया। रीजन चिल्ड्रन, बिकॉज थिंग्स हैव बिकम चीप। Tatas, when they came up with the concept of a car that would cost them 1 lakhs, and then entire, like, you know, all the middle class people, they fulfill their dream of buying a car. It's an entry of new buyers in the market. Then children, we come across the existing buyers. नए buyers तो मार्केट में एंट्री करेंगे, एट द सेम टाइम चिल्ड्रन जो एग्जिस्टिंग बायर्स है वो पहले से ज़्यादा चीज़ें परचेस करते हैं क्योंकि चीज़ें सस्ती होती है। एंड चिल्ड्रन, we come across the last point that's talking about multiple uses. Children, here mobiles initially we used to only call them for, like, use them for a calling purpose. थोड़े सस्ते हो गए, फिर लोगों को FM सुनने का, म्यूज़िक सुनने का, और थोड़े सस्ते हुए गेम्स भी खेलने हैं। अच्छा, और थोड़े सस्ते हो गए ऑफिशियल पर्पस का, मतलब आप वही प्रोडक्ट का ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो। पीपल कैन पुट इट फॉर मोर देन वन यूज़ इफ़ द प्रोडक्ट्स दे बिकम चीप। इंटरनेट पे चलो जो बहुत महंगा था, हम लोग क्या करते थे, सिर्फ व्हाट्सअप स्क्रॉल नीचे करने का, इंटरनेट ऑन करो, फटाक से मैसेज डाउनलोड करो, ऊपर जाने का, इंटरनेट बंद करके रखने का। अभी कैसे चलो दिल खोल के छोड़ देते हैं हम लोग इंटरनेट। कोई हॉटस्पॉट मांगता है, खुशी खुशी दे देते, बुरा लगता है। वही बात 10 साल पहले अगर कोई आपसे हॉटस्पॉट मांगता है, इंटरनेट सवाल ही नहीं आता, गुस्से से देखते थे लोग। नाउअडेज एक टाइम था जब लोग घर पे जाके चाय पानी पूछते थे, अभी कैसे वाईफाई का पासवर्ड पूछते। सो इंटरनेट इज बिकम लाइक अ नेसेसिटी। इट वाज अ लग्जरी, प्रेजेंटली इट्स बिकम लाइक अ नेसेसिटी। सो मल्टीपल यूजेस। 10 साल पहले कोई यूट्यूब मोबाइल पे खोलने का सपने में भी नहीं सोचने का। आपने एक वीडियो प्ले किया, आपको एक मैसेज आ गया, आपका डेटा खत्म। प्रेजेंटली चिल्ड्रन यूट्यूब पे भी हम लोग खर्च रहे, यूजेस बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। एंड ऑल दिस रीजन चिल्ड्रन एंटायरली टुगेदर they tell you why people buy more products when the price is less and they buy less products when the price is high. That's the concept of the law of demand. That's all with this lecture. We'll be meeting you with the further answers, children, the assumptions of the law and the exceptions of the law, and we'll also come towards the market schedule and the market demand curve. Thank you.